Maybe I can first.
Sorry,
Okay.
can I just a little for an update for the resist? Just
Oh, okay.
short one.
You can go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I share my screens?
Sure.
Actually, it's just a simple update, though. So the resist criteria Minjong is already make already calculated, but she still a little bit need time about it. And okay, let me share the screen. Wait.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
I know Minjong is helping.
Uh-huh.
The whole point is you learn from her how to calculate,
Yeah.
and then you do it by yourself.
So last weekend when we doing the meeting with her and Zuni, she already teach us, and we already like she already like help us with the calculations. So basically, after this I will this is the table, the new table. After this, like I will update it to Zuni again with after the table is being made. And Zuni asking about the timeline. Actually, me and Zuni asking about the timeline of the abstracts applications, because Zuni want to make it on time. So she asked that to you for the timeline. And also last time we already made the table for the exclusions for the project. So yeah, that's the update that I can give you. And yeah.
So you have all the data.
Mm-hmm.
How many in total?
For this one, I will make it PowerPoint. So
I said how many in total?
193, the one that we can count.
So one that has 3 time points?
Yeah, 192. This one.
Okay. Do you have the version with only 2 time points, meaning baseline and on treatment?
Yeah, we have it.
How many are they?
Wait. Let me check. It less than 192. I didn't count it because I count it with the 3 time point. It's like about 192. If it's like without the pre-baseline, I need to exclude it again.
So it should be much more than 192.
Yeah, this is the one that I make for the graph. The one that we start with 298 on the exclusions criteria. And right now the included one is like 192 that we can count for all the data.
So 192 is the one that has 3 time points.
Yes.
And what is the approximate number for one that has 2 time points, except the pre-baseline?
I feel like about 200, about 200, about 200,
200?
yeah, about 200, little bit.
Okay. And were you able to get volume numbers?
The volumes numbers, we already count it, but for the what is it? We can count the sum of the longest diameter as the resist criteria, but the volumetrics one, we cannot get it for the volumetrics one.
So
Oh, Eugene, what happened?
also actually I checked the data that Dr. Yuri sent us, and there is only one volume. There was only one volume like column. So I asked Dr. Yuri about, can we get 3 time points, the volume for 3 time points? And I haven't
Yeah.
and I
You
haven't
haven't heard back?
Yeah, I haven't heard back yet.
When did you send that email?
In the last week, right after the last week's meeting on Wednesday, I think, CCU and Minjung as well.
Okay. Maybe can you send it CC me again and
Okay,
see? Yeah, explain the background to him that there's a volumetric based hyperprogression algorithm,
true.
and we need 3 time points to figure that out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send an email again. Explaining the background. Yeah.
So that's will be the update, I think. And if it's okay with the data after we gather it, maybe around this week, I hope so. And Zuni hope so, like that their expectations also. So maybe we can social them, like we can start reading, we can start write an abstract set for the next week.
So abstract for, did we say what meeting?
Oh, I remember you mentioned the CC.
CC, okay. So look at the CC guideline, okay?
Mhm.
I don't know if CC allows graph or table, but look at it, and a table would be nice if they allow it. Okay. Okay. So, Arnie, you
Yes.
need one more meeting with Minjung to learn how to calculate.
Usually me and Zuni will contact Minjong directly if we need like more guidance about this kind to count this kind. Usually Minjong really like explain really good. Last time she explained it really good, so both of us quite understand about it, and we will set a next meeting again with her soon. Maybe this week. Depends on the availability between Zuni and Minjong.
Well, I understand she's helping you troubleshoot, but my question is, do you need to learn something more to do the analysis?
I think for the analysis, for me, I quite okay with the counting that she already helped us, because she also already helped us to make the table in the Google document. So I feels like soon it will be done, like by this week, for the calculations for the TGK and TGR. Except last time you also told me that you want me to combine the data with Yunho data, but I don't get it with what should I combine with Yunho data, because basically our data is like Yunho data and stash data at first, right? And we combine it and we find it one by one in the Epic.
So are you saying you have all the Yunho's data?
Basically the number of patients that we have in our data is based from Yunho data at first.
Just make sure the version that you have is the most current one, because I know he has collected a few more data with Liam about CBC. We looked at many different things like the platelet count numbers, neutrophil counts. So when you actually want to do association analysis, you need clinical demographic variables. So I want to make sure those are all updated.
Oh, then I need to contact again. I need to check about it again for that data, because I used the first data for his, like the first one for the hyperprogression one. That then we like exclude the things that we cannot find. I will check it on that this week, and I hope the data is being finished by the next lab meeting, so we can start writing soon. I hope so.
Yeah, so I want you to, without any help, be able to do all the analysis required for this project.
Yes.
and then work with Yuno. So this project plus Yuno's project, which he's really trying to finish and submit. It hasn't happened since he left. He was almost done with his paper. And just not being in Chicago, it's hard for him to publish. So I want you to take the lead. I want you to get full sign up from him so that his project can be published very soon. So the plan is, let's publish what he has, and you could be the one to finish whatever he has from whatever he has done.
Mm-hmm.
So get a full sign out, and you take the lead. You can always troubleshoot, go back and ask. But I don't want, like, I'm waiting for them to give me something. I don't want that to be the bottleneck. I want you to get full sign out. It's your project from there on. Will be able to help. He's starting his residency very soon. He has to prepare for moving and everything, right? So his project is going to be your project. I want to make that clear.
Okay.
So his project, I'll have to see, but so once we get so his project was done with one definition, right? It was done with just one definition for hyperprogression. Now your project with Arnie was looking at a different algorithm and how that makes change in the real world. Minjung's project was looking at different algorithm in the published literature and how that makes difference in interpreting data. So for the first time, we are using the real-time data and apply different algorithm, hopefully with volumetric data as well. So this will be first of its kind. And also remember, we have very straight data. We have other data, PDL1 expression, TMB. We have many other data that we can analyze the association. Okay. And for those association, I believe Eugene can help you if you have any problems with doing stat analysis.
Okay.
Okay. So my expectation is get full sign out from make sure there's nothing more you need from Minjung. You can always ask those two people about new questions that pop up. That's fine, but I don't want to wait for them to give you something or wait for you to learn something. Okay, so that has to be completed by the end of this week. If you can't get hold of someone, be persistent. Email, messenger, KakaoTalk. We have all those things. Just keep reaching out to them.
Mm-hmm.
Eugene keep reaching out to Yuri. He might be busy. Yeah, and then let's see what the first initial analysis shows, and then draft abstract for Sissy.
Okay, I will work on it. Tomorrow I have a meeting with Yunho. We already set the date, so I will try to have a full sign out tomorrow. We will see. Thank you,
Okay.
Doc. I think that's an update for me. Eugene.
Yes, and it doesn't mean it's not going to be. He let him know he can be as involved as he wants to be.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, and he can still come to the lab meeting. He can still present. he's welcome to participate in any way, but it's just that it's so hard when he's starting residency. So you are going to be the official lead of this project.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay, Eugene, you want to go back?
I need to share on off share screen your screen. Yeah, I'll share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So for the protocol, so I just finished writing proposal for transfusion and transplantation. It looks like this research proposal with background, citing all the papers that we've seen together, and the main objective in study design as of now. And me and Liam will send this to Marcelo and CellSearch and other possible collaborating companies. And for MRD protocol, I have a brief update regarding the question that you shared with us. So I actually reached out to one of the authors of the CRC paper, and he sent us the answer that among you, do you remember the 7 patients who showed the ctDNA clearance at 12 weeks post-operatively without any even chemo or adjuvant?
Right.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, according to him, he cannot reveal, their exact status as of now because they've not published their data yet. But he definitely said that some of patients were still MRD negative, and some were converted MRD positive again. That was the reason why there were 0 patients who showed ctDNA clearance at 24 weeks post-operative time. And
so no clearance on its own. That's what he said. That the 0 means they all recurred, or they didn't, it didn't, ctDNA did not clear by itself. Is that the interpretation?
This is actually his answer. Some of patients were still MRD. Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. He said that some were still MRD negative, but definitely there were 0. But no patient of 7 experienced the recurrence.
No.
Maybe I can show you the email directly. Oh yeah, so I think you're right. Remaining patients were converted MRD positive again. That's what he said.
So all 7 was converted again.
Yeah, but
so the question.
Yeah.
The question is it? The question is, did they not? Had they not been on trial for that long? Meaning, did the 7 patients or some of them got censored? Or do we know that those that were negative converted to positive?
So I asked him, like, we were wondering if we could know the prognosis of those 7 patients. Did those 7 patients test ctDNA positive, or were they lost to follow-up, or did they expire? I asked them, but he answered like it's difficult to give an exact number due to unpublished data. I think maybe to each of the questions. but yeah, maybe I can ask him again, because he said that some of patients were still MRD negative. I'm not sure. Some here means that those 7 patients who were MRD negative at post-OP 12 weeks. Yeah, maybe I can reach out to him again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually he asked me the question that had Signatera or Guardant are already reimbursed by Medicare. And as per my research, I found that for Signatera, it's covered for Medicare patients being treated with immunotherapy regardless of tumor type. And for Guardant, Medicare coverage for Guardant also receives Medicare coverage for tissue-based cancer tests. So do you have any input for this question? He actually asked me that whether you are using those tests, assays in daily practice. I think he misunderstood. You're like one of the CRC doctor, the doctor who are seeing CRC patients, but maybe I can explain more about the lung cancer patients.
So I don't understand. What was your initial question?
Oh, actually, he asked me like, are you, like Dr. Shea, using these assays in daily practice in resected CRC? So I think maybe I should change resected CRC for resected lung cancer patients. Do you think you can give me?
Yeah, you can say I do it at as a routine practice.
Okay.
I do it in lung cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess that's not important. I mean, we're
okay.
The question is, you understand the question. We just want to know: are they censored? Are they recurring? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can ask them again. Probably, maybe they will say to us that it's hard to expose that data, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, Dr. Liam, although Dr. Liam, he's not here, but he sent a lot of questions to the future collaborators for transfusion and transplantation project.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these are the questions, and then these are their answers. And actually, one of the researcher working there send us the article that contradicts our hypothesis. And I scrutinized that article, and I found out that the number, although they used exactly the same cohort with one of the largest study that proved increased risk of cancer after blood transfusion, but the number were pretty different. And I think maybe they might have missed. Yeah, they only looked over 10,000, just over 10,000 patients. This is the only important characteristics of this patients, I think. And one of the interesting thing is that they only looked at the recipients who received blood from the donor who deemed to have a subclinical cancer. So they made it they made their question very specifically. So they select the recipients who received blood from only donors who had been diagnosed with cancer within 5 years of donation. So that's one of the reasons why they ended up with this small number. And there were no excess risk of cancer over, like adjusting for all the possible confounders. Maybe I think it can be a good material for us to discuss about our research. And then, although the number was small, but I think their approach was pretty impressive. The focusing on really high risk recipients for cancer development after transfusion.
Yeah, so I think, so transfusion and cancer risk, have you seen meta-analysis done for that?
No, not for general, but non-Hodgkin lymphoma, there was a meta-analysis, but so that's actually, yeah.
Just for non-Hodgkin. Okay.
Yeah, just for non-Hodgkin. So maybe moving on to the other, I finished my search for PubMed, Medline, Cochrane, and I gathered 1,600 paper regarding the paper studying cancer incidence after blood transfusion. So I'm planning to proceed with this meta-analysis. Yeah, I'm planning for this meta-analysis.
So you're going to screen?
Yeah. Although I have found around 10 papers, but that wasn't collected through, proper screening. I just randomly came across those papers just while searching. So I think to do meta-analysis, I need this process. So that's why I proceeded in this way.
Okay. You're welcome to work with undergrad if you think they can be of help. Just looking at keywords, they can screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know if Emma is still interested. You can ask Emma, because she's still interested in biostatistics. That's her major. This might be relevant for her future. So Emma,
or Eileen,
or Sally, they
yeah.
can still. Eileen, and yeah, Sally's gonna learn epidemiology as her major. Now she's in MPH.
Yeah.
So this would be a good project. Yeah. Yeah. So again, this is a niche. No one published general overall cancer incidence meta-analysis, and this is what happens. They will look for papers, and some papers will show, contradicting results. But the highest highest level of evidence comes from meta-analysis. But it takes a lot of efforts to do it. So, but it's not as many as Min Jung-Woo's or Sira's paper was the biggest, right? The radiomics. Anyway, yeah, I think it's worth doing it. So Swedish paper, was that Lancet paper that I published reply on?
So you replied to this Gustav Edgren et al. Paper. It was on the Lancet, but the Henrik Argrim, this paper, although they share their cohort, it was published in elsewhere other than Lancet.
Oh, so the paper they sent you is not Lancet?
Oh, it was not Lancet. It was in the Lancet. It's the second one in this table, the right-sided one. Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see. So all I see is your EndNote.
Oh, really? Sorry. Yeah. This paper, you wrote a small letter to this Gustav Edgren et al. Paper, which was in Lancet. Yeah.
So this is subclinical. This was 12,000 because of
this criteria. Yeah.
No access risk. And then you have Henrik. But then those are all coming from same cohort.
Yes.
Increase in cancer is usually after. So how is this possible? Same cohort but different different result?
Yeah, because they only focused on, you know, the original paper covered over how many it is? 888,000 people and, you know, recipients, but the other paper only focused on 10,000 people who just who received blood from possible cancer, subclinical cancer donors. They only selected a very small amount of people, and it happened in many other paper. I think when they only deal with a limited number, it's hard to find any meaningful increase, I think.
Yeah, so I think that if you have that artificial criteria and smaller, and then they selected control. It matters what kind of control you pick, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because that's, I mean, even if you pick a random control, you have to adjust it by age, all that, but there's still room for error. Smaller sample size, if it's not like the whole population study where you are actually selecting control, there's a room for error. Probably that's what we're seeing. So smaller the study size, you might probably not going to see no association. So
That's
maybe
true.
you can send the article back saying that with the same cohort later on, when they didn't do the case control but look at the whole population, actually show that there is increased risk. You can talk to Liam to reply back and cite that paper, Henrik paper, and say that, that when we do analysis, meta-analysis or overall study, like there seems to be a definite link association or strong association. So we really want to prove this hypothesis, and maybe still work on the logistics, like Red Cross or the other organization. What's the what's the process, and also did the Brazilian group get back to you?
Brazilian group. So we haven't sent it. We actually, at least for me, I haven't sent them my proposal or any pertinent information. So maybe I can send them this information, the proposal, today, and then we will ask questions to them as well. Yeah, and just one quick added information might be so for one of the largest cohort study, they not only looked at the whole blood, but they also looked at the erythrocytes itself and plasma or platelets. So do you think we have to cover all this like as a transfusion of our interest?
What was your question again?
Oh, so I thought we were only looking for the patients who received RBC, PECT RBC, but the thing is, the other cohort studies covered patients who received plasma or platelet. They also included those patients as well as a transfusion recipients. So
Transplant?
Transfusion. So
transfusion.
Yeah, not only covering PECT RBC, but also they included patients who received plasma or platelets. Although the number might be small, but they did.
I think we should include. I think.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, because our theory is, well, the technical question is like, maybe there's a literature from clinical pathology, the risk of blood neutrophil or the let's say, so think of cancer cell as a neutrophil. They look about similar size. So the chance of them, that being contaminated in packed red blood cell versus platelet versus plasma. Yeah, I don't know. But
Yeah.
maybe you can look up the literature. But I think to increase our number, I think we should, yeah.
Yeah, that
The
makes sense.
thing is, yeah. And then I think we have to think hard about what's our exclusion criteria. No underlying bone marrow disorder, no underlying.
True.
Yeah. So continue to write out the protocol.
Mhm.
And also think about the sample size: 100, 200, 300. That plus finalizing our partner cell search. Did we set up a meeting with them?
Research. Yeah, I will reach out to them with proposal because proposal, it's done yesterday, so we haven't reached out to them yet, but we will do it today.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's it for me. And yeah, for the 2 case reports that are on our list, yeah, still on revision for discussion part, but I'll make sure to finish it by next week, I think. Yes, so those are all for me.
Okay. I was looking for a flight to Vienna last night. There is actually a direct flight from Chicago. I'm sure there's direct flight from Seoul too.
Oh, break time
guys-
is all?
So direct flight to Vienna. So I don't know. Easily Michael, I don't know, depending on her schedule. But again, you guys as co-authors are welcome to come and present together. And then I have a new project with Tempus. If you guys understand Albert Curie's case, the mucinous is something very interesting. So this is another project that Eugene, I want you to take the lead. And I think this one you can do it with staff. I think you'll learn a lot from staff.
Oh,
okay. But he's busy because he just started clinical rotation. What I'm going to say is, so I had a separate meeting with Tempus people.
mhm.
We explained how Albert Curie's case is unique. And I think you guys were all in that meeting with me at the AACR with Tempus. So they're willing to share all the mucinous lung cancer data. It's several hundred. RNA sequencing, DNA sequencing, PD-L1, everything. And then I said it's not just, so there's going to be 2. So the mucinous, I do think they are pretty resistant to standard therapy. So number 1. Number 2, bronchoalveolar carcinoma. So it's in pathology, it's called lipidic spread, or lymphangitic spread. So if you look at the CT scan, it will look like pneumonia.
Pneumonia.
Yeah. So the tumor types that you wrote for the lung transplant protocol, those
Mhm.
are what we want. Those are all bronchoalveolar. So that's the previous WHO version,
True.
right? So if we give that diagnosis to Tempus,
Mhm.
they will extract all the cases from
Wow.
their database. And they'll give us access to all the DNA, RNA sequencing.
And what we have to do is analyze those DNA, RNA sequencing.
Yeah. But my guess is that they will likely have biostat people who can work with us. So you don't have to do like actual analysis. You can tell them what we want.
Got it.
But there's a proposal form. So I think you and Liam can work on it,
Mhm.
and then Stas can join later for bigger analysis. But I will forward you the form, the research form. The purpose of the research is to understand. It's like the translational medicine component of our lung transplant protocol. Understand, these why do they? The question is, why don't they have any lymph node or bloodstream metastasis? What is the switch? What's their
Yeah.
and is there any signature from DNA or RNA transcriptomic difference? So I think we will still propose to compare with non-bronchial alveoli. So in the end, we will look at all Tempus data because it has to be compared.
Mm-hmm.
So there's AIM-1 and AIM-2. AIM-1 used to look at mucinous, only mucinous.
Only mucinous.
Versus, mucinous versus non-mucinous.
Mm-hmm.
AIM-2 is bronchoalveolar or lymphangitic spread, and then ask what's the difference.
Compared
So,
to non-lipidic, yeah.
Yeah. Now, there is no way of knowing. So I'll tell you the big difference between the lung transplant and this project is that lung transplant is focused on no metastasis to lymph node or distant metastasis, right?
True.
It's hard to know that from Tempus data because we cannot read 1,000 patients chart and figure out if it's bilateral lung only or if it has a distant mets. It's hard to figure out. So for aim number 2, we're going to assume that there's going to be trouble for a lot of bronchoalveolar pattern cancers. There's going to be low distant metastasis.
The more
We're just going to assume that we can't prove it. Number 1, there are some mucinous cancers that have distant metastasis. So for aim number 1, the goal is really not to figure out why do they not metastasize. We do know some mucinous metastasize. We do know that.
We want to
So
know.
aim number 1 is really like if cancers produce mucin, what is their unique biology that makes them resistant to a lot of different therapies? Slightly different, but I think it can still be covered we don't want to make it two different proposals. It's one proposal that covers in 1 and 2.
Got it.
So it's just one page thing.
Mhm.
And you can cite, so Albert Curie is now e-poster or SITSI. So you can cite it.
Right.
Now it's official. It's official. So you can cite it. I don't know if it's searchable now. I haven't been to their website.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah. But still, you can cite it, and you can use a lot of languages from our protocol too.
Okay.
And I'll forward you the form, Tempest form, so you and Liam can divide and work on the proposal and carry it on, and Stas can come on board for more of an analysis portion. I think this will be a great project because no one has really looked into this. And this is a kind of sidebar project coming out from Albert Curie's case.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that.
I got it. Yeah, I will work on the one-page paper covering all this contents and then get back to you.
So can you summarize? I know you have a lot on your plate. What are the projects you're working on?
Oh, yes. So there are 3 categories so far. The protocol. One is protocol. And the second thing is the transfusion and transplantation meta-analysis. And the third one is
so let me go back. For transfusion, you're writing in 2 different people, right?
right. I'm trying to separating original one to
So transfusion transfusion. What happened to the review paper?
yeah, on cancer survivor and then cancer incidence.
2 different papers.
Right.
Cancer survival paper.
Yeah, cancer survivor paper will be just narrative review. We didn't do any meta-analysis on that. But for cancer incidence, I just started, although I ended up having 10 or 12, but yeah, I'm starting meta-analysis on that.
And then what about transplant?
Transplant, it's in the category of protocol. So, and one is on the Albert Curie, as Albert Curie can be like associated with transplant as well for the case report. So two case reports, Vivian Panu and Albert Curie is going on, probably and by that next week, and then protocol, and then meta-analysis. And I'm gonna help Dr. Singmi for her analysis part for MRD, like for correlation, and then survival analysis again for the whole data set.
So yeah, let's talk about that now. What is holding up the project? I know last week you said the analysis has to be done. That was my update from last week.
Oh yeah, so for 33 patients, we all Concord divided on their very important data, like progression date or the last contact date, something like that. We have a second look at that data. So I think Sungmi will send me the whole, like, integrated data by today or tomorrow. So I'm thinking of analyzing them again. Because we changed a bit of information regarding like the patient inclusion or exclusion.
Okay. So now you have the final data?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we'll finalize it before last day.
I will.
Feel free to talk to me
Mhm.
about the update on the how the analysis goes and what to include and so let's say so that was accepted as an e-poster, right?
Right. So in any way, we have to do reanalysis for before submitting that e-poster because that at that time the data wasn't complete at all.
Yeah.
Dr. Sungmi,
So
yeah.
So this is the thing. I know the numbers will be different than what we submitted, but for poster it can be different. So you can put in new numbers for the poster.
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah, we have to make revision on the poster.
Okay. Very good. So tomorrow, so today I don't think I can. So Eugene, why don't you make like a Google link, a Google Doc for book club, and maybe people can write brief short
reflection or
essay.
Essay on that.
So they can and then you just send me that once everybody writes it, then you should send me the link in the Facebook, in the messenger, just for us, and then so that I could read once everyone writes their thoughts about chapter 2.
Okay.
I'm going to drive and do a lot of transit time today, and tomorrow I'm on a red-eye flight back here, so I'll be arriving
again red-eye flight.
Yeah, like 4 a.m. So I'm gonna from 4 a.m. come to my office straight.
I hope you're okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a difficult schedule, but this is an important meeting, so I decide to go.
Understood. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I am
for updating.
still waiting in the O'Hara airport for the plane to take off. I can show you.
Yeah, I hope you have a full meeting. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. So, yeah. For Thursday, so we'll do the 6:40. We'll do the testimony meeting, but still feel free to discuss any research-related findings, so we can move things forward. Okay, I will talk to you guys later.
Thank you.